What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Hyperspace. Episode 15. We are just continuing on forward in these trying times, but we have not too packed of a show, but I think we're going to have plenty to chat about, memory-based or otherwise, and it's going to be fun. We got plenty to talk about, and we got our full crew once again joining us. As always, we have Evan.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm having a pretty great week. Final Fantasy VII came out last night, so I've been playing that nonstop. And we got a pretty great episode of the Clone Wars. I can't wait to talk about that. And then Daisy Ridley's birthday. So yeah, this is a pretty slow news week. But we still have a lot to talk about. So very excited.
Also joining us, we got Brandon.
Hey everyone. In the spirit of celebrating celebration after 1 year, I decided to do full celebration merch. So yeah, let's get into it. Really excited to talk about last night's Clone Wars episode, and happy birthday, Daisy Ridley. You rock.
Also joining us, we got Carson.
Oh yes, we're back, and as we were speculating last week, it's the meat and potatoes of Clone Wars. We're finally getting to those juicy secrets and all these threads finally getting together and making a plot.
Okay, hello,
And-
Greedo.
So yeah, let's talk about that. And yeah, happy birthday, Daisy Ridley. We're gonna break down some of our favorite Rey moments, and of course, we'll have probably some off-topic speculation about everything and anything Star Wars. So let's do it.
Meat, potatoes, juicy. Are you hungry, Carson?
Yeah.
All right, so just to kick off as your local Disney shill of the podcast.
Oh man.
I love this arc. This whole arc, I loved it. Surprisingly, I think I liked it more than the Bad Batch arc, which I'm sure I will be out of the loop on that one.
Oh
I
yeah.
agree, actually.
That's funny because I was going to ask you guys at the very end of the discussion, but we can do it now. So you guys like this more than the Bad Batch arc?
I did. I thought it had more, because Bad Batch had like a lot of great action for sure, but I really like the heartfelt moments, and I genuinely do love Trace and Rafa.
See, if it wasn't for last week's episode, I would say yes, but last week's episode just
Was good.
It was good, but it ran around in a circle. You know what I mean?
It's
yeah,
funny
it went in a
because
circle, but it progressed their character, and you
yeah, I think the Bad Batch also, funny enough, that the third episode of Bad Batch was also not very good. If I
Yeah,
can
it was a
remember
short one. It
correctly.
was like 18
It was a
minutes.
short
or something.
one. It was just all action. I'm like, what was this? What was the point of this? This could have been an extension of 2 or an extension of episode 4.
Yeah.
But I think in general, I liked the Ahsoka arc as well. I think I liked it more than it's hard because I think Ahsoka I connect with more because we've seen 7 seasons of her so far compared to the Bad Batch. So we're going in there with already an emotional connection. But I really liked episode 1, episode 2. Episode 3 was really good. It was surprisingly, it ended surprisingly. But in episode 4, before we started talking about it, was fantastic. I thought it tied things up in a satisfying way. There's some things I was skeptical about going in, but they handled it very well in the episode. So yeah, I really liked it.
And basically, all of our speculation from last week was generally in the right area of kind of where things were going. Of course, we get the Maul comes into play. We get the
Crimson Dawn.
Mandalorian. Yeah, Crimson Dawn name dropping. Totally awesome.
That was
Hearing
awesome. Yeah.
especially the afterthought conversation between those two pikes of like, I can't remember what the line is, like joining up in this kind of thing is the best way to run our business or best way to run our kind of trade or business or something, which is just like, it's just such a tease for, I want a Crimson Dawn,
spinoff.
Syndicate War, more Kira, more Han and Lando side adventures. Like, I don't care what medium it is. I just need that story. I think it's so ripe for a Disney Plus series, or of course, we're always makes Solo 2 happen here. But going back to this episode, I think I just loved, again, just Ahsoka's decisions in all these episodes of having, I love that she makes, of course, it's her grand plan that they're, probably going to come back and help her, or is it? I don't know. But I love that she puts herself on the line, having just met these people and kind of like showing her true self, even though after she does that, she kind of gets revealed, oh, she's a Jedi, and they're like, oh, you're a Jedi, whatever. And I love like the kind of animosity they have of like, oh, do we forgive you? Or this is kind of weird, but it kind of just works. And I love the scene when they're in the ship. Like, shooting down the chasing pikes, and it just, because that was such an immediate fight scene, it's like they almost forgot about the label of her, and they just saw Ahsoka for who she was. And I loved, like, they just kind of forgot about everything, and you know, it just shows how great of a team they become over these last 4 episodes. And you know, a lot of people have been saying this season has been kind of classic Clone Wars in the sense that it hasn't really like had that full, okay, we're gonna go huge scale, huge everything. But I like that all these kind of, they're not side quests by any means, but they're kind of you know, taking place in certain parts of the galaxy and only pertaining to probably 1 or 2 main characters. And that's how Clone Wars has always been, with kind of these segmented arcs. But I love that we have been getting just these really good character moments, particularly in both the episode 4s of the Bad Batch arc and you know, this arc, in the Dangerous Set. So
yeah, I was I think what I liked the most is, like, you know, while this obviously is the Clone Wars era, we're following the war, which is great for the side of the Bad Batch, but I liked just having the smuggler feel of just like the piloting and all the different tricks he had to pull. I especially love this episode of how they immediately developed a plan, which was a really smart plan. It was just like, no, let them go to get your spice, or I'll tell you where their family is, which is, you know, a false lie. But like literally gets Trace and Rafa out for sure. But the fact that Rafa herself ends up having that change of heart for Ahsoka to come back, not only come back for her, but actually successfully get that spice they needed anyway, is really cool to see.
Yeah, this was why I really like this arc, because we all came into it knowing Ahsoka was going to have her own personal arc, but I didn't expect to have Rafa come out with one of my favorite characters from this whole season as well, more so than Trace. I think Rafa was the main one that had the most change to do. I think Trace, in her eyes, she was just enlightened by the bigger world around her, something that Rafa was already familiar with because she was the one doing all the iffy jobs per se. But Rafa came in here now at the end of the episode with a whole new eye on the Jedi and on like her future business that she does with her sister.
Right, so, and it both like it. I love how it opened her circle of trust, and it kind of shows how Ahsoka can exist without the Jedi or the preconceived notions of it, because you know, she puts herself on the line, and that's in this whole overall scheme of the arc, that's more important than who she is at face value or who she was. You know, she's like, I was a Jedi, and this is like the first time we hear Ahsoka really say that. Like it's just interesting, but I feel like it works so well because she gets pulled in to, of course, you know, the main arc pertaining to everything on Mandalore at the end, but it feels like she has a renewed kind of perspective on everything, and that's why it was just a really satisfying moment of her, like, you know, going up, leaving Coruscant at the end, because just of the new perspective that she has of like how she's existing outside of the Jedi.
It's interesting that you say that, like, she has a new perspective, because I think one of the lessons, like, she even gets from Rafa is that she's a different person, but she still acts like a Jedi. Even Ahsoka was still struggling with, like, do I join the Mandalorians? Because where this path follows, I'm going to have to come back to the Jedi.
Yeah.
And I still think Ahsoka is still it's going to be a season-long arc for her in terms of fully letting go of the Jedi. I think right now, throughout the past 4 episodes, she's been laying low, but she still to use the Force, so we saw that again.
Yep.
And she was still berating Rafa and Trace from doing their business, which in hindsight, I guess, I think Star Wars is trying to tell us, like, what Ahsoka said was right, like they shouldn't work for the Pikes because they do bad things.
Yeah.
But and to be honest, like, even Rafa brings it up in this episode. Like, if Rafa would have just sold them the spice and left, nothing bad would have happened. We wouldn't have been in episodes 3 or 4. They were just sold the spice and left. But I think Rafa still learned an important moral lesson that just because it went well here doesn't mean it will go well in the future.
Right. And exactly like what you're saying too, it goes against Ahsoka in the sense that, like, her moral high ground, or what she thinks is her moral high ground, isn't necessarily right for every situation and is a flaw of the Jedi, because as we know in this galaxy, their way of thinking isn't necessarily a good or bad thing. And it's just how singular it is. It gets things into trouble. And we see that directly come into play in last episode of like the whole family and that story. And here we see Ahsoka have to like finally reveal that she is that person. Yet I just like how I guess I should rephrase. It's not even a new perspective at the end. It's like she feels a new belonging somewhere else. She asks them for permission. It's a very touching moment for her to belong to something else that she's known her whole life. Like I love how she keeps the bike there. I love how she kind of like, should I go? I love that she feels obligated somewhere else but the Jedi.
Yeah, she's enlightened. Like she had her worldview opened up a little bit, which it wasn't in episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
When she's like, "Oh, the Jedi are great people," because now she sees, even though it was just Trace and Rafa that she ran into. I think in terms of storytelling, those were like the devices for Ahsoka to be like, okay, not everybody loves the Jedi, even though it's just two people technically. You can still like extrapolate that and be like, okay, fine, yeah, I think the Jedi are kind of flawed, which she already knew as well, which is why she left.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just love that in general, and I think she's really opening up her eyes. And I just think in general, even at the episode 4 of this arc, I think she's still very different from the Ahsoka we see in Rebels. I think the Ahsoka we see in Rebels would look down at this Ahsoka and be like, "You still made a couple mistakes here and there. You're still too like on this moral high ground." She's not at that point where she tells Vader, "I am no Jedi." I don't think she's at that point yet. Even though she did leave the Jedi Order, she's still very much tied to them. And she's going to become closer to them as the Siege of Mandalore progresses, which is going to be interesting to see how she reacts. Because I think she's going to love seeing Anakin and Rexen or clone troopers again. But at the same time, she's not a Jedi, which I really liked that part of the episode where she's like, I'm scared where this path is going to go because I just spent this whole arc basically trying to move away and help out you guys. But now I'm going right back into the thick of it again. Like, she just left a couple of months ago. I don't think it's even been a year.
And it's going to be alluring, just as Anakin's fall has been alluring. It's going to kind of be a mirror of that, because I'm sure Anakin's going to be like, "Oh, you're back, Snips!" Like
stick with us.
We're just like old times. I'm sure there'll be an action sequence where they're together, and it will just be like old times, a throwback. And it's going to really hit heavy because I'm sure Ahsoka is going to kind of pause and be like, "What does this mean for me?" And especially, assuming this, there's going to be a lot of responsibility, especially with this clash with Maul. It's like, what does that mean for her in terms of, is it a responsibility of fighting for the Republic, fighting for the Jedi, or fighting for herself?
That's what I'm very much excited for, because we both know, I was telling my brother this, like, we know Maul and Ahsoka live to be in Rebels. So what's the moral, emotional, what's the deep part of this fight going to be? Because every good Star Wars fight has that little meat to it where, it looks cool, but what's the complexity?
I think it's going to have a lot of conversation in this fight.
So, I hope so. I really hope so. Like, again, like in the Ahsoka novel, was this kind of mentioned what happens, but like it wasn't given in deep, animated and conversational context. So I'm very curious to see like what's the baggage. And people have been like, I know it's not the majority, probably isn't, but like complaining about this arc and how it's so slow, even though it is very much like the Clone Wars we're used to. But I think this arc is very much gonna increase our investment in the later episodes, like in the Siege of Mandalore stuff. Hopefully.
So let's
Go ahead.
let's actually I was gonna say let's dive into future predictions and regarding the because we are officially 2/3 of the way done. We only have 4 episodes left of this season.
Oh my gosh, that's scary.
I know. We're starting a whole new arc. This is going to be
wait,
There's a rumor. There's a rumor they're going to do a 13th episode, but without us knowing. There's a rumor for that.
From Jim or something.
I'd love to see it, but if it doesn't happen, it's fine. I think what do you guys? How do you guys think some is going to play out? Because I was thinking while you guys were discussing whole Ahsoka Anakin thing, like I'm sure it's going to follow together, just like old times. What I feel like could happen, because just based off trailer knowledge I know that there is going to be a moment that intersects the exact same time Revenge of the Sith is happening. like right on the cusp of Order 66 as well. So we know stuff like that's going to go down. What I feel is going to happen with Ahsoka and Anakin is I think they're going to fight great. I think they're going to get to a point where like they need to go their separate ways just due to their own missions, or at least Anakin's mission. Maybe he has like it's going to be like
it's going to intertwine with episode 3. I think Palpatine's going to get kidnapped next episode.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a thing that's like Anakin gets pulled away because like the Chancellor's been kidnapped or Grievous is assaulting the Capitol. So he's got to go. But I think they're going to be on a good term that will maybe open up that like they'll be on understanding like, well, maybe even I'm not part of the Order anymore, we can still maintain some form of communication of friendship, and I'll see you around, which is even more tragic when you know Anakin.
Oh man,
that'd be tragic immediately.
Yeah, see, I agree with that, and I also think now that I'm thinking about it, talking about how Ahsoka is fighting for herself against Maul, I think there's also going to be a third thing is, we see, what's the Mandalorian's name that comes in at the end of this episode?
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan. I think that we're going to see a conflict in interest between the Jedi / Republic of what they want from Mandalore and what Bo-Katan and these people asking for Ahsoka's help, what they see Mandalore as, and whether it be pinned against, I love the line at the end. This is like, there's no Death Watch anymore. I can't remember what she says. I'm sure the Jedi will be like, oh, well, they can't rule because the Death Watch is just going to form again, blah, 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 or something like that. I don't know what it would be, but I'm curious to see the aftermath of that. And maybe that's where there's a little bit of conflict between Anakin and Ahsoka. Is like, you're not this. I know that, we fought beside these people. We can't just shun them aside. Or I don't know what it's going to be, but I think there's going to be something that's going to kind of get in the way of Anakin and Ahsoka's kind of the state of mind or where they are as people together.
You mean going into this mission? Like, you think Anakin and Ahsoka are going to be conflicted?
No. Like after, like
after they do their after this next episode, or
after this next episode.
Okay.
Possibly. I wonder if there's going to be a moment where I do think they'll be on good terms, Anakin and Ahsoka, but I wonder if we'll get some moments where it's going to be the fall of the Jedi, like you're going to have Order 66, and then Ahsoka is going to reflect not just that she's already a hiding survivor to begin with now, but being around that and knowing so many Jedi that she knew, especially just thinking about Anakin or Obi-Wan, and she'd probably think that they're just completely gone. And she may end up having a grieving scene over that. Do you guys would you guys be down to see that? I think it could be like a good emotional moment.
Like at the end of the series?
Yeah.
Grieving of her after Order 66 and everything?
Yeah, just she presumes that Anakin is probably dead after all this because she probably doesn't know about his turn.
Well,
I don't think she does.
I think she's going to presume that everyone's dead that she knew. Obi-Wan, Anakin, Mace, Plo Koon.
I don't think she'll be around anybody that she recognized from the Order.
I think she'll sense Plo Koon's death.
Because that would hurt, dude.
You think Filoni's going to tackle that and just give it a more honorable one?
It's Filoni.
Her and Plo Koon are very close, and Plo Koon took her in. Oh man, that would be dark.
Yeah, I think Brandon's right on that. I
would love that, to be honest. I love Plo Koon. He's one of my favorite.
Just as Yoda in Revenge of the Sith senses everything going down. Yeah. It could be a more intimate moment, like where we cut between Plo Koon or
Plo Koon ship spiraling into a
no.
That'd be dark. Yeah, I still think there'll be a morning scene at the very end of this season between her and Rex. I think her and Rex are going to end the season walking off into the sunset together. Maybe going their different ways, of course, because they end up in different ways in Rebels. But I think they'll bury their lightsabers and she'll leave. Or she'll bury her lightsabers and then Rex leaves.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, like, because she doesn't have her what's the Padawan braid?
Right.
She turned
That
in.
also could come into play this season. I wonder if Anakin would give that to her.
Put this braid back on.
No. Just like a
Oh,
symbolic symbol
Well,
of friendship, like
well,
Nathan is
he
saying,
gives
of
her- he
ending
gives
on
her
good
back-
terms.
He gives her
I
And
back-
then
do
maybe
think
she
while-
buries that.
I do think that while Ahsoka is returned, like at the base with the clones and stuff, I do think Anakin is going to offer once more for her to return,
Yeah, I think so too.
and I think she's going to be apprehensive before she can even give a definitive answer. I think she's probably there's going to be like an interjection of the mission.
I agree. What were you saying, Brennan?
Well, he gives her back her lightsabers. So
Yeah. But I feel like Anakin's always that kind of guy who's very emotionally distant. Like it's very hard for him to. He's a great person, great Jedi, but he can't really connect to people really in a way. So I don't think he'll understand Ahsoka's emotions because he was kind of bewildered at the end of the Ahsoka leaves arc. He was like, "What's going on here?" And I think he kind of understood it in a way when Ahsoka said like, I forget what she said exactly, but he kind of understood why she was leaving. Because didn't he say that? What's that one quote? He was like, "I understand," or like, "I know," something like that.
I understand.
I know how it
I
feels to
understand.
want to walk away from the order.
Yes. Great quote.
And then
And she's just like, I know.
She's like, I know.
Oh, so great. I love that quote. But even then, I think he'll still be like kind of like, hey, because now you're back. So how about you stay back kind of thing? Because he
Wasn't
loves
there
her. He's
a-
like a daughter to him.
Kind of like a John Wick. Nobody gets out. Nobody gets out and comes back without any repercussions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wasn't
speaking
there
of that,
wasn't there an Anakin quote somewhere in season 6 where he got emotional about Ahsoka? It's like, what choice did we give her? The moment there were any doubts, the council turned
Ooh.
back.
it sounds familiar.
It does. I figured that was post that episode.
I
so-
think season 6, by the way, is also very close to season 7 in terms of being very not as global as seasons 1 through 5 of the Clone Wars, which people are crapping on for this season. But speaking of that, though, I thought one of the funniest quotes from this episode is when she told Rafa and Trace, like, "I left the Jedi Order," and they're like, "You can do that."
You don't leave the cult.
That was hilarious to me because like I started talking to my brother like, yeah, of course. I feel like even in Dooku Jedi Lost, Dooku was like, yo, Yoda, I'm leaving. And Yoda's like, okay,
He's like-
cool.
He's
Okay,
like,
cool.
Yoda, like, hey, cool, bro. Keep the
Like, they
secrets
can't-
and all. It's cool.
Yeah, keep in contact.
Oh, God.
Basically, they can't do anything. They don't put a gun to anybody's head. Literally, anybody can leave if they really wanted to. Nobody's putting a gun to somebody's head. It's like it's just that.
Yeah,
when
but I
you're in
guess
a
it's
Jedi
like an
Order-
assumed thing. It's like I think it's more of like, why would you leave? You had it all. Like you were a Jedi.
And as a Jedi, you're taken as like very young age. So this is your family. So you'll basically be leaving your family, which is so
It's the only
rare.
life you know, really.
It's the only life you know, which makes it so harder to leave. Dooku had his own family, which makes sense for why Dooku left. Ahsoka's just very rare because she grew up in this place and she had the ability to leave.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
fascinating, man. How do you guys think Siege Mandalore is gonna go down?
I can't wait.
I think a lot of clones are going to die. I think a lot of
Oh, really?
Mandalorians are going to die.
I'm very hyped. I mean, okay, well, let's talk the Maul side because I'm super
Oh, yeah,
hyped.
let's talk
to see,
about that.
I'm hyped that because I keep forgetting Ray Park did mocap for the fight,
Oh my god, yes.
so that's cool. Can't wait to see that. I think it was interesting when they brought up Crimson Dawn in this episode because
Dude,
That was
dude,
crazy.
my brain had to dig through the canon because my first initial thought was like Dryden. No, wait, no, Maul.
when he
Yeah.
name dropped Crimson Dawn, I'm like, he said it. He said it.
I did like for a brief moment. I was like, it would be so cool if Dryden popped up, man.
This was so unexpected to me.
I
Because
love the solo love in this whole arc.
me too. I think this was developed or written, animated. I don't know what to say. During the same time as the Solo was getting whatever was happening with Solo.
Yeah, probably
worked
2017.
on 2017, 2018. I think so. Yeah, I think it's kind of easy for somebody to go downstairs, talk to Filoni, and be like, "Hey, bro, we're mentioning Maul here."
You going
Yes,
to Kessel on
yeah,
this
you want
episode?
him?
What are you doing?
Yeah, somebody knocks on Filoni's door, like, "Hey, bro, we're using Maul." He's like, "Okay, shoot, crap. Okay."
Do you guys
Episode
think?
4.
Do you guys think they'll give us some kind of like idea of like to the people who haven't like really kept up with Solo or lore and anything? Do you think they'll kind of show us how Maul sets up Crimson Dawn?
It seems like it's already.
No.
in
Hey,
the-
it's been kind of set up already when he got all the factions together, but I'd like to see like what got him to like smuggling spice and all that.
It was very.
I want to see where he goes because again, going back to last year when we were at the Clone Wars panel, where Sam Witwer really rode the line of spoilers. He was saying Maul does different techniques to be more successful in this show. So
I think we're gonna see that in his opening scene.
yeah,
Not
I
a
think
hologram.
I think he's gonna be powerful from the get go. Like onward.
Yeah.
He's
gonna be a new Maul.
powerful. He was able to sense Ahsoka through a hologram. That's pretty powerful stuff.
Dude, he's like,
that was very interesting to me. I'm like, is Maul that powerful in the Force? He's a very Force sensitive guy, but
I
would
was
love to
watching
see-
that, and I was like, wait, I know everything he sees is a hologram. Can he see that far? Is
yeah, I
not
was like, he was like
hurt?
walking around. He went to
Right.
the pole. I'm like, how?
No, I was
how is
thinking
he
like
working?
I was thinking of like the logistics of the hologram. I was like, wait,
Yeah, same.
how does the range of the
Yeah,
It
like, he
had to have
walked
been the
over.
Force then.
that's the thing that's always got me. It's like on the hologram side, you have them looking up, but when it cuts to them, they're looking down at the hologram.
Yeah, it's
That's
very.
what's always it's
digital
really
reconstruction.
But
Future.
anyways, I would love Maul's opening scene to be maybe some kind of interrogation, some kind of torture scene where he's
You think it'll be the clone mind probe scene?
maybe.
I forgot about that. Yeah, he's like a clone or something.
Yeah, maybe trying to just get any advantage that he can. And I don't know what that's going to look like yet, but I think it's key to like set that up immediately.
But can we connect the dots here? So Maul's setting up the Crimson Dawn, I guess, or he's just in charge of it right now. Is this the early stages of Crimson Dawn from Solo? I guess then, and then what makes him want to go back to be in charge of Mandalore? What's the connection there?
I think Palpatine kind of needs him to, so the kind of like the Jedi can get split up a little bit.
Okay.
I think Palpatine kind of expected Obi-Wan to go to Mandalore because of everything that happened there.
Yeah, it was a trap.
I think that's
Also, what are the resources on Mandalore? I can't remember.
What do you mean?
They have like don't they have like
resource.
I don't know, like there's I can't remember if there's something on the moon or if there's something that's like valuable.
I don't. Yeah, sorry, Brandon.
material itself. No, like I know like they've used like smuggling material heavily in Mandalore, like they were poisoning the kids and all that. I know that, but for a mineral itself, like a material, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think
so. I was saying that could be an incentive.
But the main incentive early on in the Clone Wars, like in episode season 3, 4, whatever it was first mentioned, was Mandalore was this huge planet in terms of its connections to the other Outer Rim planets, which is why it was so important for them to stop all the corruption, because it's such a central hub for all the other.
Well, and that's a huge point. That could be the reason. It's like he wants to operate out of there. And
so is he in charge of Mandalore, not on Sidious's doing? But I feel like after I forget what happened.
I think it's a double crossing thing. I think it's of like, okay, you're supposed to do this, but this is why I'm actually motivated to do it. You know what I mean?
Okay. So do we think do we think Sidious knows about Crimson Dawn?
Of course he does. I
mean, technically he does, but does Maul know that Sidious knows about Crimson Dawn? Does Maul think he's doing this behind Sidious's back? What I'm trying to say, like, is Maul supposed to be in charge?
I think Maul thinks that it's like a fly to what Sidious is worried about, probably, even though Sidious is probably worried.
I think Sidious.
I don't know.
I think Sidious told Maul what's to come, and he basically said, "Yeah, go screw up, go do your own thing." But in the hindsight, I need you here to do for this.
Okay, Brandon. Okay, yeah. So that's what I'm thinking, Brandon. I think
you remember
Maul to be on Dathomir, but Maul's also doing Crimson Dawn on the side.
Yeah, you remember the original Maul arc from season 5. Maul hears that, like, oh, the Clone Wars. Oh, it started without me.
Yeah.
He knew the fall of the Republic was coming.
He knew the plan, which is,
like that whole Phantom Menace quote. We'll have revenge. Like that was planned.
Because I always wonder, did Sidious tell Maul basically everything about the prequel trilogy plan? Because I think he told Maul more than he told Dooku, in a sense.
Which is crazy.
I think he was surprised that Maul died. He was honestly surprised that Maul died, compared to he only told Dooku, like, oh yeah, I'll let you be in charge of the Republic after we take over, even though that was never going to be the case for him. I think Maul was always going to be that enforcer for Sidious. He just didn't expect
Maul was brought up into that life since a child, wasn't he?
He's a child. So he had. So I think
Whereas
Siddiq's way more
Dooku was a
invested.
former Jedi.
Yeah, Dooku. I think there was. It's not even a matter of trust. It's a matter of like, honestly, I think Dooku's a lot smarter in terms of, even though a lot of the ways of the Sith is like, okay, we're going to get revenge and revenge on each other, or we're going to take over each other. It's like, I think there's a lot.
He knows both sides, so he's practically better.
Yeah, he had great utility per se.
Yeah,
he was very useful. I think when Dooku left, Palpatine's like, "Oh, this is just music to my ears." He's a separatist. I can do that. My whole convoluted plan about working with the separatists can work.
He just started moving all the chess pieces. He's like, "All right,
he found his big chess piece there.
You know what's crazy is like in Jedi, not Jedi, Dooku Fallen. Dooku
Jedi Lost.
I'm confusing the two titles. Palpatine and Dooku only meet once, and that's at a Senate meeting. That's it.
Yeah, I remember I wanted there to be more because that's such a pivotal moment.
Yeah, and it's an eerie scene too. Like with everything, it's like
poor Dooku. He had no idea what was going to happen. Like, yeah, Dooku's story is so tragic because he really wanted to be like, he wanted the best out of like the separatist planets, but didn't.
And then he got decapitated. Shame.
I'm trying to see if there's anything else about this episode that I loved. Oh, I wish we saw Ursa Wren without the helmet. I hope we eventually do, because that's two episodes in a row now. We saw Ursa Wren. Like from the last episode, one of the three members of the Mandalorians with Bo-Katan was Ursa Wren, Sabine's mom. And hopefully we get to see her animated without the helmet. Maybe not, but just something I noted.
I mean, because we're going to Mandalore now. Unless she's pulling a "This Is the Way," I'm pretty sure.
I also wanted to ask you guys in my notes here. So, does Bo-Katan? She was on Kessel, basically investigating Maul, correct? Like, what do you guys think she was there for?
I think so. Like, now
investigating the Pike connection.
Because didn't she? If that's the case, though, wasn't she with Fen Rao? I forget his name, not Fen Rao, but she was with that one Mandalorian leader when Maul was like establishing all this stuff in season 5 or 6. She was there with them when he was establishing all these bases. Mm-hmm. So she already knows that he's in charge of all these different syndicates. I guess she could
just be keeping tabs.
Keeping tabs on him.
That's what I think, because like we got 2 episodes where they're just sitting there and then she saw Ahsoka. She's like, "Oh,
yeah." Okay. She was surprised to see us.
What are you doing?
Yeah, she feels very prone to get out of whatever the current situation or handling of things is.
Yeah.
Wasn't her thought when she saw Ahsoka, like, what's the Jedi's hand in this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was watching this, I'm like, okay, so she already knows beforehand, before the whole everything went to crap with Maul and Mandalore in season 5. She already knew that Maul had established all these different crime syndicates. That was known to her because she was there helping them out. Mm-hmm. So why is she back there also with Kessel and stuff? So I'm with you guys. I think she's just keeping tabs on him. I think she's surprised after Maul fled Mandalore.
Yeah,
especially like I'm pretty sure Bo-Katan she definitely wants revenge on Maul because of the killing Duchess Satine. So
yeah, that was her sister.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm thinking that's another reason why she's been keeping tabs on everything.
Oh yeah. And then one last thing, like before we started this arc, the episode, I was saying how I was nervous that Rafa and Trace were going to be super upset at her that she was a Jedi. We kind of already mentioned it, but I'm very happy that they didn't go into a super corny direction where they're like super upset about her being a Jedi. But I like that it was just like 1 or 2 scenes, like Carson mentioned. They had that whole flight action sequence, and they come back and they're like, "Okay, we're just surprised at all, but you're still our friend."
I love the quote. I love the quote that she's like, "You're at least what I want the Jedi to be."
Yes,
it's beautiful.
That's probably my favorite quote of the episode. I wrote that down as well. It's like that's very good for Rafa's arc and Ahsoka's arc. It's like that's what the Jedi should be. It's like kind of like that, not too morally high ground, but also.
I don't think they're completely re-accepting the Jedi, but I think it's just like the thought that like people like Ahsoka are
exactly helping them.
Yeah,
pretty nice.
helping the little people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. There's also a little thing Evan had brought up in trying to scrape the barrel for some news. We had there was reports that the live action Ahsoka deal was signed for like a multi-picture type thing to make multiple appearances, and also the thoughts of a backdoor pilot for Mando season 2 and Clone Wars. Sorry,
Mandalorian makes sense. Cassian or Kenobi? No.
I think it could for Kenobi, how things could go. I don't think like for like major role, but
I mean, a quick hello would make sense. But
I don't want it.
yeah, exactly.
I think it's more of a standard. We were talking about this before, earlier in the week, of just kind of a standard structured deal that's kind of just set in place when these big kind of shifts happen with actors and characters. However, I'd much rather her not oversaturate in the other shows and kind of overshadow whatever the main story is of those. I'd rather, as much as I'm not really sure what this backdoor series would be, I'm much more invested and willing to give the chance of something like that versus dropping in on these other shows.
Do you guys think they're gonna kind of start and milk Ahsoka like they did with Vader, sort of?
they've really milked Vader for 12 years. Like I love Vader, but every year there's a new comic book. That's a great question.
There's comics. We've got him in Rogue. Well, I mean, it makes sense that he's in Rogue One. I love that he's in Rogue One.
at the same time, I'm over here like, I hope Vader's in the finale.
No.
I mean, it's also great that he's in Jedi Fallen Order, but like they just keep giving more and more Vader content. Like,
people still ask for a Vader solo movie in the comments. I'm like, come on,
we get a Vader Disney Plus series.
Rated R.
We're over that.
Rated R.
Rated R.
It is their it is Lucasfilm's backbone crunch.
It really is. Like you put Vader in a poster and
it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed to get like
guaranteed.
Oh, Vader! Oh, hello, more Skywalker content.
They're like, give me a Vader anthology. Give me like a Vader spinoff. We had them.
Okay, more of that Vader. Can I get some more Vader?
But going back to that, I think I agreed with you, Carson, up until like you'd rather have her series than other people's stories.
And I'm not even confident in a series. I'm much more. Yeah. I'm only confident in the sense that I'm much more invested in them writing an original plot line for her than I am her shoehorned into these other shows purely just because she's in Ahsoka. Ahsoka. I
agree. Yeah. It's hard because I think Brandon off the bat said like no Cassian or Kenobi, but I think I don't want it. I want to preface this. I don't want it to be in Kenobi or Cassian either. Like Carson said, I agree that this is just a normal deal. Alden Ehrenreich was signed on for multi-picture deals.
Yeah,
rest in peace. Someone hire this man.
He's not dead.
McDonald's.
Please give it to him.
Get Alden working at McDonald's.
It's interesting. Like
I think she can still. I think she can work in the Cassian because Cassian was the what's it called, the Fulcrum in Rebels, but then so was Ahsoka. So you could have that thing where Cassian passes it on to Ahsoka, or Ahsoka passes it on to Cassian. I forget how timeline works, True. But they're both Fulcrum, so that can kind of work. But again, that's me forcing her into a story that doesn't need happening. And same thing.
I just don't see Tony Gilroy being there. Like, what character should we use here? Ahsoka. It's like Tony Gilroy. Yeah, here's what about
Ahsoka. Thing with Cassian, kind of like what the whole pitch for Rogue One was, is like I expected it to solely be the war aspect, but like not really the mystical. Yeah. So like I don't need Ahsoka in there. What I would prefer if you're going to bring a character back for the Cassian series, I would be so down for more Bail Organa stuff or Mon Mothma.
Yes.
Guerrera.
Give me a political edge to the Cassian series.
Me too.
Yeah, I would love that. I would like some more. I don't even know how the hell the Senate works at that point.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
I am the Senate.
But I would love to see that aspect. But I don't need to dive into Ahsoka because I feel like Ahsoka is just like once she shows up, it's instantly you get more into the mystical side of the Force, which I think is not something I'd make the focal point with Cassian. I think that's going to be a huge focal point for Kenobi with just the whole spiritual side of the Force and everything. I think there'll be plenty of stuff with Qui-Gon, and I think if you were to have Ahsoka in it, I think it would solely be from, which I always thought Kenobi would do, is if they would ever do flashback scenes. If they were like able to get Hayden or Natalie back on, I think that's how they would do it. Very briefly or different angles, but
bring Rosario in, just have Cassian tell, I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old.
I still want some PTSD / kind of like burdened Kenobi scenes where he's just kind of struggling with the past.
Me too.
And I don't know what that looks like. I know me and Nathan talked about this of like when in Lord of the Rings, when like Frodo like puts on the ring, like some kind of like crazy kind of aesthetic choice where it like
I would love a Force
shifts.
Vision nightmare.
Yeah, for like something like that where it just goes all out. And maybe she's just briefly in there. I don't know though.
But that's why they brought in Joby Harold, guys, to write all that.
No,
I don't. Yeah, okay. I don't think they've. I don't think Star Wars. I don't think Star Wars has ever really jumped into the aspect of dream sequences much. Like every time Anakin was dreaming, that was visions.
Yeah.
Wherever they're in the dark side caves, that's close. That's dream-esque. But like, I think the closest you get is that Force Awakens Rey vision, which is still vision. But I would like to just go full on, like the Vader comic had when he's bleeding his crystal. Like that's a.
I was just about to say, yeah. I think Star Wars gets into the weird vision force. I don't know what I'm saying. The weird Force vision stuff in the comics and the books more so than the visual medium of like TV.
But Obi-Wan especially is the perfect thing to do that.
Perfect choice. Like, which is why even like as we're describing it, I'm still shocked they're having trouble with the script of Kenobi because it's like
it seems easy.
What?
It seems kind of easy. I mean,
it seems kind of easy. Like I hate saying that because we're just like I'm not a writer or anything like that. I can't write TV, but it's just from the basic story beats. I'm fine with 2 episodes of a Force vision with Kenobi on Tatooine.
No, and just honestly, it's like you have a big threat that I don't know if it actually takes him off planet or it threatens to take him off planet. Either or, you have something that is either shining attention on him or giving him a moral dilemma of like, okay, do I leave Luke or do I go solve this because I know I can? And what does that do to him if in fact he does leave? And maybe it's a race of time back to the planet. And maybe he has to save Luke just in time. And obviously the whole homestead would be oblivious to it. I would love to see that perspective of like,
that sounds good.
I don't know. I don't know what that threat would be, but there's got to be something they can write in.
What a big theme I think I would love to see. I don't want there to be any new introduced Tatooine thing where it's like there's a certain Force sensitive area or anything. I don't think.
Yeah, no. I don't.
What I want is there to be like he's out in the desert and just like the vast, hot emptiness is just like really starting to mess with him.
Yeah, it's deteriorating him against himself. Like he's human at the end of the day. Like
and his only like real determination is just like I have to protect the son of my failure.
Right.
Which is fantastic, but then I think they'll still have some good moments. Not to spoil for you, Carson, the certain point of view, but the whole Yoda, the Yoda story has the great moment where they're all during A New Hope, and like there's a whole point. All right,
I wonder where he's going.
He's gonna go grab
it. But there's a great. There it is.
I thought he went to the bathroom.
But it's great because in moments, I think it's after Obi-Wan has been struck down and Yoda feels it. Obi-Wan does visit Yoda in his hut. So I think you will get a similar thing with Qui-Gon because they had already set it up end of Revenge of the Sith with Yoda saying he'll teach you to communicate with them, get more training. So I just look forward to that the most. If there is going to be any off-world conflict, I'm down. But at the same time, if you just kept it more psychological and burden fueled, I'm also down.
It's not necessary.
What if the thing that keeps him from leaving off-world is he keeps having the vision of Owen and Beru like burned to a crisp? Like he keeps having that Force vision.
I wouldn't like that.
Just think about
He
that's
tried to
something
stop it.
What?
Like I would. What?
He would actively try to stop. He would do everything in his power to get them to move.
Like I feel like it's not retconning A New Hope, but it's giving me too much to think about during A New Hope,
Making it too predestined, I guess.
Too predestined. Yeah, I'm like, I don't want Obi-Wan sitting there looking at the flames like, ooh, I saw this in a vision a couple years ago.
Well, it's because when Luke's trying to run home, Obi-Wan's like, "Wait, it's too dangerous."
Well, yeah, because there's stormtroopers about. He's untrained.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Obi-Wan also kind of knew.
Yeah, you can make it work, Brandon, but I'm just like, I wouldn't really want. It's kind of like with the whole Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker thing. Like, oh, Luke always knew that she was a Palpatine. I'm like, did he though? But, but yeah, speaking like what you were saying, Nathan, I don't want them to make Tatooine more special than it already is. Yeah. Like, it's not supposed to be special at all, which is kind of.
I think that's the strength in the story.
Exactly. My complaint about the Rise of Skywalker is trying to make Tatooine such a special place, but like I don't want Obi-Wan Kenobi to find like a Force temple or Jedi temple on Tatooine. Like that would suck.
Yeah, that was why in my rewrite, I didn't like Tatooine isn't a special place, but you could remake it into a special place and build on top of the burdens of the past by creating a new hope.
Bingo.
There it is. But yeah, no, I would love to see how that goes. We officially just dove into the old Disney Plus past Clone Wars, but yeah, I think it's going to be a good time because once again, Ewan McGregor is fantastic, and we're going to get solid performances.
Yeah.
So we'll move on from there. Before we dive into our anniversary memories, not quite, Brandon. We are going to actually discuss. It is Miss Daisy Ridley's birthday. A very happy birthday to her from us, and also a very happy birthday to Max von Sydow, who would have been 91 today.
Oh, dang.
Speaking of which, I just watched Minority Report for the first time. So good. He's so good in that.
Max von Sydow did that?
Yeah, he's Lamar. He's the
yes, he is.
The head. Yeah.
The head is like
Fantastic.
I love Minority Report. That movie's freaking great. Yeah.
Awesome.
A great ending too. We can
Love
talk about that afterwards. Yeah.
So I got scrolling across the screen. I thought it would be fun since it is a slow news day. The trilogy is complete, however you feel, but it is wrapped. And we've had a lot of great performances from Daisy. She did fantastic throughout the trilogy, and I would like to take some time in celebration of her birthday. What are your guys' favorite Rey moments throughout the trilogy? Just to kick off, like your very favorite moment. You can talk about others as well when we're wrapped, but I think I'll kick it over to Evan starting. What's your favorite Rey moment?
Wow, starting with me.
Well, you said you were
last. Yeah, I already have my idea. Like it's from The Last Jedi, and it's Rey's Force vision under Arc 2 when she goes into the hole in Arc 2. Like that moment, I'll always remember that because I was in the theater and I was watching it, and I'm like, I was so prepared to love this moment already because of the trailers. I'm like, yes, Rey's having her own singular moment, and it was really built up to in the movie because throughout the entire movie, she's placing all this trust in Luke, in the Resistance. Even Kylo Ren, like Ben, calls her out on it, saying like, you put all your trust in Han Solo, Luke, like not yourself, which is why she goes into the under Arc 2 in the first place to confront that dark side. And it was interesting because this isn't the dark side we're used to. It's just like the Force telling her the truth. Mm-hmm. And
sometimes the truth / denial of what she wants is the answer.
Exactly.
It's so perfect.
It's so good because especially the direction, the way the way Ryan like directed that whole scene, the way she's talking, but you don't know who she's talking to yet. And she's kind of like narrating her own sequence. She sees multiple versions of herself, something we've never seen before in Star Wars. It's very unique, the whole snap and multiple Reys. And what I love about it is that even in that scene, when she gets to reveal that, because even when you're first seeing it, you're like, your heart's beating because like, what is behind the mirror? What is behind that? But then it's just Rey. And I love that twist. And even in that reveal, Rey at that point still doesn't like believe in herself yet. It takes until after Ben breaks her heart on supremacy for her to like really nail home like, okay, yes, I have to believe in myself, which is when we get that great Rocks moment, which is another great Rey sequence.
Another great Rey moment.
I love that whole vision.
Dude, now I might God, that might be my favorite Ray moment. But yeah, because Susie brought up, I was like, oh, that's right, the vision, the snap, damn it.
So good.
No, but my favorite Ray moment, I did bring it up to Evan briefly. It was actually like is how I won my Force Awakens copy from Resistance broadcast. Thank you guys. Because I love the scene so much from Force Awakens. I don't think I've studied more scenes from Star Wars than I did that one, and it was great. It's the literal title of the film. It's the Force Awakening and Rey when she goes down into Maz's basement and she discovers the lightsaber. It's like it's calling to her. Her past self is literally calling to her, and she goes through the whole vision. And then it just you're just developing like this whole journey she has ahead of her. But then coming out of it, Maz is also just like, oh my God, it's calling to you. Just that whole moment is beautiful because I especially just love the whole comment that the longing you seek is not behind you, it is ahead.
Such a great
lovely. The ones you're looking
back
for,
when Maz was the character.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get into that though.
But I love the moment where it's like ones you're looking for, they're never coming back, but there's someone who still could.
Oh, so good.
It's lovely. All of it's so lovely. And I even love that she doesn't initially take to it. She's still freaked out because this is like something she's never really.
And that's my favorite part.
We miss you.
Yeah, she runs away.
Another plane of existence.
Yeah.
And she is freaked out and she just runs. She doesn't want any part of it. She runs away.
So good. I mean, that's similar to my pick too. Is like when she runs away from what is in her face, which was right in front of her, which is all these things people used to always talk about how Rey doesn't have any flaws. Like we just had two scenes which me and Nathan both mentioned where Rey runs away from her truth, from her destiny, and it's a flaw of her character. She doesn't like to believe in herself. She likes to believe in other people, and she can't believe in her future, like Nathan mentioned. And it's a beautiful scene. I love that scene.
Yeah, it's it's definitely now it might be my second favorite because Evans was so good, but it's great stuff. Who's next?
I'll go next. I actually have a couple favorite Rey moments. For me personally,
pick one.
It isn't really more.
Ours still got to go.
I know. For me, it isn't really more something that she does, but it's more of like her facial expressions, like experiencing basically the rest of the galaxy when she gets off world. It's just like the quaint Rey moments, like when she's on Octo, just like under the Falcon, like putting her hand under the rain and stuff.
Great, yeah.
I just love those. Like Carson tweeted a few months ago, he's like, "I miss these quaint Rey moments." I miss those quaint Rey moments.
Yeah, and people like got mad at me. They're like, "Well, did you see the serpent scene?" I was like, "Okay, jeez, calm
down." Look, I have a fun time with Tross, but I can't. That doesn't make sense.
There's no breathing in Tross. There's no breathing. It's like
I know.
Brandon said it's perfect. Like the whole Rey stuff under the Falcon is just so quaint and quiet and so simple and beautiful. I love that stuff.
And then she's also just like when she's on Takodana, she's like, "I never experienced this much green in the whole galaxy." And then also my like actual physical favorite Rey moment is when she catches the saber in all three films.
Oh, so good.
Yeah,
it's iconic. Yeah.
Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and then when she catches like the saber to kill Palpatine, finally, that is just so great.
That is a good scene for her. Carson,
absolutely.
Okay, I have two that I've been thinking of.
Cheaters.
No, it's two. Okay,
Nathan, you had two.
My first one.
I had one, and then Evan had. I stole his.
Is speaking of like getting pulled away or running away from her. She's determined that Luke Skywalker is the answer in The Last Jedi. And she finally gets pulled away from him during Luke's daily routine. And she goes over to the temple. And I love just the exchange between her and Luke of like, why are you here? I'm no one. Yeah. I love that like it just shifts the entire movie in that moment. And is she again, this is so early in the movie that she really hasn't accepted herself, but it opens up Luke. This is the first time that Luke is like curious about her and not just closed off. Yeah. And I think it's so important to Luke's arc in the movie in terms of, we now see Luke Ryan's, or I can't remember who said it, but it's a great quote of like, oh, your heroes aren't always who you envision them to be. And I think this is the first time that we see the spark of Luke Skywalker in a way, seeing it in a new generation of Luke recognizing that there's hope left.
Yeah.
That scene's so good. You're talking about the scene where she's in the bookshelves, right?
Yeah, she's in the bookshelf.
Okay.
Luke comes in. And my second one is Lesson 1 from The Last Jedi.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Great fit.
Right.
Yeah, where Rey's breaking down the whole island of just what she sees. And, of course, all these lead to just how Rey kind of strips down Luke as a character. She's at the end of that, you close yourself off from the Force, and it's just such a powerful moment between the two. And it's just Daisy Ridley and Mark Hamill on screen together is just something else.
Yeah,
but
I love the chef's kiss.
I love Rey's continued just like fight to get Luke back into his faith, because just like after the first lesson, it's that beautiful sunset over the little puddle over the logo, and Luke is telling the story of what happened with Ben.
One of the best scenes in all of Star Wars.
I love it's so perfect. I love just Daisy as Rey. Duh. Going on about how like she needs someone to show her place and all this, but also she's like really fighting the just like, no, I know you are the Luke that we believe you to be. Kylo failed you, but I won't.
Oh, I love that quote, because then she's the one that leaves Luke. Oh, it's
also another great Rey moment is when she raised, the classic thing of how it was reversed in the trailer. She raises the saber against Luke, and Luke stops himself on the ground, and she says like, what does she say? There's still hope.
Did you create Kylo Ren?
Did you create Kylo?
You tried to murder him. Oh, the rain coming down, the intensity, the way he lifts himself off with the Force a little bit.
And I love that it ends with just like, just like one more time, and he can't. Like,
I love that. Yeah,
then the best part.
The Falcon goes off, and perfect.
That's the best sequence. That's the best transition. Is she's handing it to him, and then it cuts to them leaving.
Yeah. She's like, I'm giving you a chance. It's like she really wants him to be the Luke of legend.
What a flow of a masterpiece to go from perfect scenes where it's just like it's the whole dark side cave vision to the confrontation in the hut to the confrontation with Luke to the Yoda scene, just like back to back.
Yeah. This is why we needed Canto Bight, is we had some heavy stuff going on.
Exactly.
We needed some relief, man.
People always say this stuff, like, I wish we had just the Rey, Luke, and Kylo stuff. Like, if we did, this would be one of the darkest Star Wars movies, because it's heavy. Like, the Canto Bight stuff really elevated brought in the levity for The Last Jedi, because otherwise, The Last Jedi would be such a dark drama in Star Wars.
It would be.
Yeah. It was so great. But there's just so many great Rey moments. Like, I remember I tweeted out like, "Happy birthday to Daisy Ridley. I love her arc in The Last Jedi." I muted so many people that said like, "What's her arc? What's her arc?" But we just explained it. It's just like her evolution and believing in herself throughout The Last Jedi is so perfect. Yeah, I love it.
Especially the whole movie. Not the whole movie, but she goes into the movie not even believing in herself and believing if the answer is in somebody else, and it's just that she's just been thrown into the situation. It's very similar to like how we see Finn finally taking responsibility and fighting for something. We see Daisy, fighting, or Rey fighting for more than just what she's been thrown into. She's fighting for something bigger.
What would you guys say is your I'm gonna take two for this. I don't care, considering that's a trend here. But what are some of your most fun moments with Rey? Because I think what comes to mind for me initially is I love when she's in the gunner seat in Last Jedi. She's having a blast. That's fun.
What did she say? Like, she's like, "This is cool," or "This is awesome."
It's like, "Woo, I like this.
I like this." Yeah.
But like, I think it's like the most fun scene with Rey is just the Falcon's first flight in years in The Force Awakens, and it's just like trailing all through, and that just like that drop before she kicks the engines back on. It's so fun. That's one of my top 3 in The Force Awakens.
For me, it's her just like training with her saber in Last Jedi.
Oh, sure.
That's
Another
another
great Last
all-time.
Jedi scene. Oh,
She didn't have to earn shit. Listen up, people.
Got it.
She picked that thing
Here.
up. She doesn't have to earn any brother saver. Get out of here.
yeah, like we were just talking about, like Rey is such a progressed character in The Last Jedi, but then in the beginning of Rise of Skywalker, she's like, I haven't earned it. Like, what do you mean?
You've been using it. It called to you.
But some of my other favorite Rey moments, like I didn't even mention the Reylo moments, like when Kylo kills Snoke and Rey's hand catches a lightsaber in her hand, and she looks at Kylo. I'm like, oh, okay, it's game time. And the whole fight scene against the Praetorian Guards is iconic. But and then of course her Daisy Ridley's like one of her first scenes was when she was not her first scenes, but I think when they were trying to do like chemistry tests with Adam, they were doing the interrogation scene, which was my favorite scenes in the entire trilogy. Is the interrogation scene, and a lot of great acting in that very moment. Love it.
You're afraid you won't be as strong as Darth Vader.
So good. Chills.
And Adam's just like,
like, I love this girl.
And he immediately
Also-
goes, hey, can we like
She's
get
strong
her on our side, man?
untrained, but I'm stronger than she knows.
that is so perfect.
I know Ben all about his
Another all-time Rey moment for me is, of course, one of the most legendary character introductions of all time in terms of pacing, in terms of music, in terms of
my gosh.
anything ever.
Wow.
The best moment. And like, I could watch it on loop. I would never be bored.
No dialogue. There's no
No
dialogue.
dialogue.
It's so good.
No
It's like
dialogue.
5 minutes of no dialogue in a Star Wars movie. God.
Hmm
So
And
good.
also a little
line is-
moment is in Last Jedi where Luke it's like, do you feel it, and slaps her with the
With the-
little leaf.
peak
It's a great fish out of water moment for Rey of just like, oh, what's the for, like,
I love how her first line is Talamapaqua.
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 Oh,
No.
also the BB-8 adjusting the antennas in all of the movies. So
Oh,
perfect.
Yeah. Where was that JJ at? I mean, you're right, Carson. Those first 15 to 10 minutes with Rey, that's iconic because that's basically storytelling without telling us, like Rogue One. It's like
I
it's
miss
all
you, Lawrence
visual
Kasdan.
stuff.
I'll just say it again.
Where did that JJ go?
Lawrence
I love
Kasdan left.
Lawrence Kasdan.
I love the little moment with, like, hey, can I have your droid? 60 portions. And she like
Yeah.
oh my god, like, well,
Like you see it in her face. Yeah.
See, that was the moment. That was the moment where she knew that her destiny was going further than just getting
Yeah.
portions every day.
You're right. It is. It changes all right there.
Yeah.
Imagine if she sold him right then and there. They wouldn't have been after her at all.
Starkiller Base would have just blown up like every planet.
Oh man, it's crazy. Star Wars is a lot about choices.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
decisions that could have led to
Wow,
different things.
Because they would have taken Rey prisoner, and then they would have gotten BB-8 from
Yeah.
Unkar Plot. That's his
Plot.
name. Yeah, I drew a blank on
Simon Pegg.
Yeah, and that messes up with Finn's character too, because Finn runs into Rey because of BB-8 and all this stuff.
Yep.
So, yeah, everything's all about choices.
alrighty. Rey Skywalker. Okay.
No, leave me alone.
Oh,
We didn't mention anything from the Rise of
Hold on.
Skywalker.
Okay. Speaking of Rise Skywalker, canon readings real fast. Quick pop-up segment. I finished. Yes,
Oh, wow,
I
Good
finished
transition, Nathan.
good transition.
I finished it, and it was good. The ending had me laughing a little bit after she said Rey Skywalker. There's more to it. She's like, Rey Skywalker.
Who?
And the old lady was like, oh, and she kept walking. She was like, I don't want to deal with these no damn Skywalkers. I know what they've done.
What?
Are you serious? Wait, what?
Holy
She didn't
shit.
say that. But no, she didn't say that. But after she says Rey Skywalker, the old lady, she's like, oh, and she just keeps walking. But you can guarantee in her mind she's thinking, oh, another fucking Skywalker. I'm not dealing with this.
Not these guys again. Oh man.
Burn the whole goddamn place down. Ah,
So does the book end like how the movie ends? Basically, is there anything additional there?
Well, Ben does say, I'll always be with you.
Yeah, we knew that.
I heard about that. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
so good.
But that was on Exegol. But
Yeah, that was
it ends the same way, but it's not a sunset, it's a sunrise.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
beginning of a new journey, I guess. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oof. Been
Well,
there,
it
done that.
was a sunrise.
Been there, done that, JJ. I don't know what he was thinking.
Ryan did.
Anyways, on a happier note, celebration.
So
Celebration.
yes, the beautiful Ray Palpatine reveal. No.
The beautiful
All right,
Tatooine.
I've killed all momentum. Now we're just gonna jump into. It has been a year since Star Wars Celebration officially, and we got memories because we went every day, practically, all of us.
Carson and Evan were not prepared for this. Nathan and I were.
What up?
Wasn't prepared for what?
merch?
I'm
Oh,
prepared.
for all of our merch, man. Come on.
I'm prepared. I got the memories. That's all I need.
I know exactly. It's all in here. I
Yeah,
could have worn my Skywalker T-shirt, but whatever.
Yeah, so through some course, I actually became quote unquote best friends with Christopher Sean. Don't ask about it. No, but that was a whole great venture of just communication with him prior, and then also meeting up with the dude because he's so goddamn friendly. Oh my god,
Dude, he hugged us. Like, as soon as he saw us, he was like, yeah, bring it in, man.
Yeah, he was such a great personality. He was just one of those people that was just so happy to be there. I think, I mean, it was his first Star Wars Celebration, right?
Yeah.
And even if his line for the Kaz autographs was low, he was talking for 5 minutes with each person, making sure everybody was having a good time. And literally just the best guy to talk about Star Wars with. Like, he always has something to say, and it's just amazing to just kind of pick his brain and hear what he has to say about everything.
See, that's what made it the better experience, because he was able to chat with everyone longer. Because, like, with other celebrities, like, don't get me wrong, it was great meeting Hayden Christensen and Paul Bettany, but we got 5 seconds with them.
Yeah, we went for the autograph for
oh, nice.
Christopher Sean. He was because we were just like, I think initially we had Warwick lined up.
We had Warwick and we lost him.
Missed it. So
Edge.
best we could do was transfer, and we got I think 2 credits. I think Brandon went off to see Matthew Wood. Yep, and then I was like, hey, let's go see Christopher again, because the dude made such a great impression of just like the nicest guy in the universe.
Yeah.
We signed our photo op that we had with him and gave it to him.
Yeah, we had
yeah.
the digital copy. So we signed it with our special names, our Star Wars names, and we like Uno reverse card, gave him an autograph. Funniest thing ever, dude. It was so fun. He's just a class act.
I love how he handed it to his wife, and he's like, "Oh my god, let me get a."
He's like, But see, it's great because we signed our nicknames that he gave us: Nathan Solo, Brandalorian, and you just signed Carson instead of Clyde.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Claude.
That was funny.
Yeah, Christopher Sean's a great guy. Like, I remember we went to the Resistance Season 2. My brother and I went to the Resistance Season 2 panel, and that turned out to be one of the best panels of all Celebration because of the energy of Christopher Sean and the whole cast there. It was incredible. Like, I love that guy. I love the whole cast. They're just very lively people.
Yeah,
And you guys got the first episode, didn't you?
Yeah, first episode, which is
First
fantastic.
episode, yeah.
I love Resistance Season 2.
It kind of stinks that we weren't able to make that podcast because we had to meet Ahmed Best. But hey,
Yeah,
it's
I
Ahmed
remember
Best. I'm
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Meeting
we're
Ahmed
the
Best
better
was a
replacement.
highlight for me.
That was
Dude,
beautiful.
like, because we gave him a standing ovation literally that morning.
Yeah.
And we were like,
At
oh
Phantom
yeah,
Menace.
we
Oh,
can
yeah.
see Ahmed Best, man.
That was the same day as the Phantom Menace panel, right?
Yeah, I walked up to him like, Mr. Best, you are amazing. Thank you. Like, I know Jar Jar Binks gets a lot of flack, but
Yeah.
You
like,
said that?
no, I didn't say that, but
Oh.
growing up as a kid, like, I got to meet somebody that played in the movie. I watched a lot as a kid. Like, meeting Ahmed Best was super cool.
It's so funny. Like, I'm such a Jar Jar defender, honestly, because
Dude, same.
I genuinely like Jar Jar, and it was funny meeting Ahmed because I'm just thinking like I have watched the making of documentaries so many times.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
this.
I told him, I said, keep telling your story and we'll listen. That's what I told him as I shook. I think I was the last one to shake his hand. And you could just tell how grateful he was of just like, you know, how he has his little YouTube show. And now it's grown to this Disney Plus series is he getting. I'm super excited.
I totally forgot about that. Has it been renewed on that? Is that
Man,
coming?
I think-
for Ahsoka to pop up, dude, it's gonna be
Yeah,
crazy.
did that get corona or something?
I think we're supposed to film in the summer or something. I don't know what's gonna happen.
He's been pretty lively on Instagram and stuff. Like, Mr. Best, I might tweet this video out to you. We would love to have you on our podcast, Hyperspace Hype. You are awesome.
Let's go.
Yeah, you are awesome, sir. We met you last year, and please continue telling your story. You are amazing, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm staying with Carson. I can't wait to watch that show of it. I totally forgot about that. It's like a game show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, game Star Wars game show.
Super excited for that. Yeah, anything Star Wars related on Disney Plus, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So if we recount the journey beat by beat, because what a time. Initial start, day one, kicked off was just a show floor. Just taking in the vastness of this giant convention.
Thursday night. Right?
Wait, Nathan, share your screen. We can have footage.
Maybe later. They're on my channel. Check them out.
Yeah, they are. Yep. Go. We'll have them linked below.
Yeah,
The
it was
vlogs.
time the kickoff day, but then later that night, ran into Carson.
Indeed.
And Evan, we all went to go eat.
Oh yeah,
That was fun. We went to
Yeah, that was
Bubblegum
fun.
Shrimp.
Where we go? Yeah, Bubblegum
Shrimp for the first time.
I think
Oh
I
my
got.
the fact that the
like-
first time was so good, but the second time something messed
Oh,
up.
Just something wrong.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I got that macaroni and cheese. I think on that.
oh
first
yeah.
Oh my
It
was
gave me a
a-
lot.
It was my dessert that messed up. They
Yeah.
burnt it. They burnt my ice cream.
No,
Oh, yeah, and it was like-
frozen. It was frozen.
No, he got like that cookie cake, and it was like
Yeah,
Yeah,
hard.
the cookie was
It was
hard,
frozen.
man. Like the first one was so good, and I was like, "This is amazing," and I was like, "I need it again." Oh,
And it was frozen. Yeah.
I think that was because we stayed till like the very late, and then they're like,
yeah, they were trying to
"Guys,
close, and they're
trying
like,
to
"Get
close,"
out
they're
of
like,
here."
give him that awful cake.
and I'm
They
just
need
like,
to go.
hey, confrontation, but like, I paid for this. Can you just?
We'll take it to go. Just come on.
Yeah,
Just could you take it off the bill?
but yeah, that first night was a lot of fun because I remember I drove in on Thursday and it was so chaotic just going into the show floor, meeting you guys and trying to find everything, getting the lay of the land because we were all kind of like preparing ourselves for what was going to happen the next couple of days. And
we were gonna start our Endgame rewatch, and me and Carson faced depression to find out
We all
there was
faced
no
it.
HDMI cord in
It was
for the TV, and I was like,
Oh, it was horrible.
And we also thought we was going to see Hellboy. We had our tickets purchased and everything, and they're like,
Oh, yeah. We wanted to go. Thank goodness we were saved
wanted
from that
to.
amount.
We were
Yeah.
saved, but yeah,
Movie.
Carson was like, "Oh man, my flight's getting delayed." I'm like, "Bro, what? No,
Not
like,
Hellboy.
I'm like, it's fine. We met James.
Can I just say that was terrifying? First of all, I was late to the airport because
Oof.
I was trying to mail my taxes because apparently tax season and Star Wars Celebration go hand in hand. And I was like going 95 on the highway trying to get to the airport. And I get there and they're like, "Oh, actually there's like a small like part in the middle of the plane that's kind of like malfunctioning right now. It's gonna be 30 minutes." And I'm like, am I gonna crash on the way to my first celebration?
Final destination.
"Oh no!"
And another thing I'll just say is it was like being my first celebration. Like the first morning was just hilarious. After we went to just like waking up and my first day going into the convention. Of course, Friday is like the first main day, right?
Welcome
And
to the day.
it was terrifying when we got in there and the gates like opened or like people just started flooding in because
it
I
was
don't know the
chaotic. Yeah.
Oh, we
And-
jumped the whole.
I lost I didn't know where the Star Wars show stage was. I just saw a Del Rey booth. I ran past that.
Oh yeah,
and I
because
lost
you
the whole
weren't there
thing.
that
I didn't
Thursday
realize
night.
it. I was-
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so sorry we left you behind because just like we were in a panic mode. We were like, we got to get to the stage.
I think I was
And
already there.
But then it was
wasn't I?
like I got there and I
We
had to
all
like
got,
cut
like,
in. I was like, I'm
together.
going to my friends. I'm sorry.
That was too funny. Yeah, I forgot,
But
Carson, because you
what a
weren't at the
day.
show floor Thursday night. You showed up
And-
Friday morning,
Yeah.
so you were kind of new to it all.
And then to warm us up, we had the man, the myth, the legend, cam actor on stage.
Cam actor, the biggest.
Oh, my
hype
cam
man of
actor.
all
That's
time.
CAMACTO
Dude, I got a selfie with him from a distance. It was great.
from a distance. The best
Yeah.
kind. The secret stalker selfie.
Yeah. Let's just say that Star Wars show stage was excellent at
Oh,
Chicago.
it's great.
I
dude.
love the layout. It was way better
Yeah.
than what they did in in Orlando. Like I love the whole like it gave a lot more room for everybody to have at least a good seat, and we had excellent.
Yeah.
We were standing, not seating.
Yeah, and after the
was
episode 9
excellent.
panel, there was just freedom to just go there, whatever, and you always had a good view of whatever.
Always
was
had a
going
great
on.
view. It was never overly crowded. You could hear everything.
It was great. They had like I think they had like 4 or 5 different screens that you could view from
Yeah.
different angles.
Yeah,
It
they
was
had
perfect.
the ones facing that way, and then they
Like
also
both
had
sides of the
ones-
stage plus
And you
Both
could
sides,
see
yeah,
who was
and-
coming next based on the prompter of
Based on the
like,
prompter. It was run very
Oh
well.
my God,
I was like
this-
Vanessa Marshall. Oh,
oh,
yeah. It's like
speaking
might as
of
well stay
that-
around.
Speaking of that, when Nathan and I basically hauled ass from the screening of the Return of the Jedi,
don't even
all
remind
the
me
way
of that
to get
day.
to the,
so
to
here's
the
the
9
thing.
cast.
We were hyped for
Is this Friday still?
This is the publish. We're at the publishing panel, Evan.
Wait,
Okay.
publishing panel was Friday.
No,
Yeah.
this is on Saturday. I
This is
think.
No,
Saturday.
Friday.
Oh, wow, that was a long day.
That was 9 day with all the cast there. So,
Right. Okay, you're right. That was Friday.
Well, first off, before we jump into that,
Right, it was because publishing panel was the same time as JJ coming out. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But before we
Oof.
jump into that, the whole 9 panel was a
Okay.
gigantic unison of just the
Yeah.
best
Emotion.
ever.
At the time, now in hindsight, you're like, oof.
No, honestly, it's still fun to look at.
I mean, we're going to talk about Kelly. Oh, I love working with Kelly. I'm sure you did, JJ. Thanks for putting her in the movie. Come on.
It was so beautiful.
No, he doesn't even say that. He says the biggest
My
the
favorite
biggest
character.
gratitude I can give to Ryan is casting Kelly Marie Tran. Shut
Yes.
the front door, JJ Abrams.
Oof.
But
Anyways,
the whole
Yeah,
experience
sorry. You're
was
saying.
great. I have a full vlog of like a majority of like us responding to the panel.
and our
However,
reaction is golden. Still,
yeah, and if you just want to
That's
I'm so shocked. I recently checked. I didn't know it jumped that high. It's at over 800K.
incredible.
Oh, dude, I actually scrolled through the comments recently. They were like, "I only tuned in to see that cute guy with the Seahawks
Oh.
lanyard."
There's
oh god,
so much Carson thirst. It's insane.
Dude, literally.
Carson,
I
you're
mean-
famous.
I mean, everyone mistakes him for James Franco, but
I literally
Don't
do
forget
not
us when
see
you're
it.
famous. Don't forget us.
Carson Franco.
Ah,
No, but yeah, it's such a fun time. But yeah, then later that day, me and Brandon were anticipating because we do audience reactions. We were hyped to go to a crowd for a Star Wars film. We go in there, there's like 9 people, but we were killing.
everyone was asleep.
Yeah, we were just killing time. I was starting to fall asleep too. Brandon's just like going through the live stream. I'm just like,
I'm
I
like,
was like,
bro,
oh yeah, it's hot and carb.
number one celebration tip: go to bed. Like
Yes.
I know it's hard because you're with your friends. but, like,
Immediately.
The
Immediately.
day
and
was
also,
go to
and al-
bed.
and also
like-
rest, and also like massage and like soothe your body so you can walk the next day.
Function
Dude,
the next day. Yeah,
that's
take your
another reason-
backpack off, lay down.
That's another reason why we just hung out over by the screen.
Yeah, it's where we could
That's just
stop.
the rest
That's
of
the
our
only
lives.
place you could stop.
I hate that we journeyed all the way to that screen.
Oh my God.
Like we got turned around, and then Brandon saw on the live stream.
And we-
Surprise!
we hauled
AJ
ass.
and Cass.
You got to go through security again, right? Because
We
that was
did,
technically.
But I dude, I literally, I like, it's unlift all my zippers. I'm like, here, let's fucking go.
I was
Yeah.
just like, we've been through this.
Yeah, so we basically hauled ass, and we made it just right before I saw right before I got to see the teleprompter, and it says the best piloting guys. I'm like, no way.
So we got to see live Oscar Isaac and Naomi Aki. And
Sounds like fun.
that was great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
So
bet you
sorry.
guys had a lot of
Project
Well,
fun.
your side of the coin.
Hey Carson, where were we when that was going on? Why weren't
We were at the
there? What
publishing
happened?
panel,
Oh.
getting introduced to
Oh, what
kids'
happened
books.
there? What big guess happened there?
Well, Claudia and everybody showed up, and they're like, "Stay tuned for more news," and we're like, "Eh."
I was beyond shocked. Like we were all sitting there. I'm like, okay, guys, so they're gonna reveal Project Luminous. They're gonna talk about their future books.
Can you imagine if
Nothing.
can you imagine if you guys did get that whole High Republic reveal there?
That would have
Oh
been
my
awesome.
god, it was a pack. The whole panel was,
was-
like full.
Yeah, beyond packed. People
Completely
were
full.
standing in the back because we were expecting big news, but all they revealed were books that already came out, or books that already were revealed. So all we saw were
Yeah.
covers and concept art. We're like, okay, any news? And like, it'll be revealed soon. Little did we know it'd be revealed a year later.
Yeah, see the
Insane.
thing for Nathan and I, we were able to basically see almost the entire 9 cast, not that day, but like over time.
We went to the
It's-
Orlando.
Orlando, yeah, we saw John Boyega, Mark Hamill, Daisy Ridley,
And Kelly.
Kelly Marie Tran, which is
That was her first
awesome.
introduction, and it was fantastic.
Who else did we see?
Mark.
Kelly was sitting with
Oh,
JJ
I
too.
think it's Mark.
Okay. Ryan and
Oscar,
Kat.
Naomi.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
met Ryan.
Ryan,
Yeah, we met
did
Ryan
meet
Johnson.
in Orlando.
Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, in
We-
Orlando. He was at
in Orlando. Yeah. Okay.
3 hours straight in the overnight line.
Yeah, I shook his hand and he signed my autograph.
Wait, you were at Orlando?
Yeah, I was at Orlando.
Wait,
Yeah.
We
So-
talked about this.
So wait, you met Ryan Johnson too?
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
I shook his hand. I had him sign my lanyard.
Do you have your lanyard?
It's at
This
home.
is the equivalent of
My mom's home. Yeah, but
this is the equivalent of Dr. Evazan Ponda Baba on Rogue One. It's like you just watch yourself.
But dude,
Orlando was great. Yeah.
it
yeah.
was. It
What
was
a class act that dude.
Those lines, oh my god! I got like 2 hours of sleep in over 4 hours or 4 days.
We tried to
It was
sleep. We were
bad.
like, nah.
Evan.
See, I'm thankful
Did you
that
make
I
it in
don't
live
have to do
room?
that.
The live room, yes, for The Last Jedi. I remember that day was iconic for me because people were cutting in line that morning.
Oh my god, that pissed me off so much.
So when it got to the point, like there was a group that we got close like over the night. So this random group of people and I, we were getting close, but then they capped us off and said, "Okay, you guys can't go to the live room." I was like, "No." I was up to have a whole argument. Like I was arguing with them, saying like, "They promised me the live room for The Last Jedi. I will not accept otherwise." Like I said, I will not. And then some security lady. Because I was getting loud. I'm like, yo, I got promised this. I'm only doing this once a year. It's kind of bull crap. And some nice lady came over and brought my whole group in to sit in the back of the live room. I was crying, and that was one of the best days ever.
Oh, it was great. I only went that one day, but it was my first celebration.
Same here. Yeah.
What a time! Like obviously, the whole experience in line was
Yeah.
hype. I don't like this lottery system because I missed the magic of
Dude, the overnight line were so. Dude, you remember you, me, and Cole were just like hanging out. We're like, oh yeah, we got this and this.
What's funny is like by the time I made it into the live room,
It was 11:59.
yeah. Oh, I was up for over 24 hours by that point. I was
same.
exhausted. And other than Ryan, I don't think I had ever met anybody famous in my life.
Me neither.
Dude,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of internet personalities who are following. Like big time at the time was Collider, and in the distance, walking along the wall, I see John Campea walking, and I'm just like, oh yeah. I'm exhausted. Is he real?
Jenny Nicholson. After the panel, was like 2 feet away from me. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh cool.
I had time to talk to Jenny Nicholson, John Campea, Christian Harloff. That was amazing.
I did go up to Jenny, and I was like, oh cool. But at the same time, creepy hindsight because she was talking with Andy Signore, so that's awful. But
ooh.
yeah.
Back when she had she had like a Screen Junkies show, didn't she?
She had a Screen Junkie show, and
Yeah.
she was at the Collider Schmodown trivia too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
dude,
she was there as well. But it was just cool, like because I got to run into Jenny, and she's dope.
She's amazing. Yeah.
dude, the biggest clutch of 2017 was when Nathan made it to the doors at 11:59.
Oh yeah, they closed the doors at midnight. I did actually get there at 11:59. Just like luckily made it in.
That's wild.
Got my saber tagged, and so that was cool.
Dude, literally at 11:59, I'm like, come on. Nathan was like, hey, my dad wants us up at McDonald's. I'm like, no, you fucking come here now.
I don't know. It was because we had to do the drive. We went from Jacksonville to Orlando. That's like 2.5 hours.
Oh, you drove there? Okay.
Dude,
Yeah.
if they stopped at McDonald's, they would not have made it in.
I wanted to leave earlier in the day, plenty of times, but we didn't. Like when we left, it was dusk.
Well, dude, I'm shocked. I'm shocked your dad was okay with driving after having back surgery that same day.
He loves me, I guess.
Speaking of 2017, though, do you guys think they're going to have the anniversary of Empire Strikes Back at this year's celebration,
Yes.
just like they had the New Hope?
Because they're selling merch.
1000%.
They're
It's
selling
already
merch.
a thing. They
Yeah,
got
they're already selling
Are they
merch.
doing that? Oh, I didn't know. I forgot about that. Okay.
But
So that's hype.
I can't
Yeah.
wait for that panel, though.
But
I
who
know.
will they get to be there? I don't know.
Ooh.
Oh, but the Ryan situation was
question.
interesting. I didn't know Ryan was going to be there, and I knew he was signing.
Nobody
stuff,
did.
so-
Yeah.
I texted
So-
Nathan. Nathan was like, "Oh shit, I'm coming."
Well,
Where
yeah,
were you at?
and the thing was, I didn't really have anything really to sign. I had my saber, but I was just like, if he signs the hilt, it's gonna smudge. If he signs the blade, I don't know. I was like, oh, maybe not that. But luckily, I'm a hoarder of my movie tickets, so I was like, what's the most logical thing I could have him sign? So I was like running through my things, and not long ago, Rogue One had come out, and I know Ryan had a cameo in the film, so I was like, "That's dope. I can do that." So I did. So he signed my ticket stub.
You should have had him sign your Logan tickets. On my Logan tickets, it came out a couple months ago.
Okay, so
Yeah, but that was a great moment. Just like saying like, "Hey, what's up?" He made some funny faces at my lightsaber, which sounds
such a great
exactly
guy.
how I intended it. Don't worry. But but it was great. I was like walking off, and I was just like, "Hey, man, love Looper." He's like, "Oh, thank you so much."
I said love Looper too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like it's Looper.
You guys are so lucky. I don't know how I
that was the only
contain
movie I saw.
myself.
dude, literally,
So lively.
Ryan Johnson actually created the perfect distraction because earlier on that night they weren't allowing anybody to cut the line, and then since everyone was crowded around Ryan Johnson, nobody would care to realize that Nathan and his dad were coming in line with us.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of lines, can we just talk about last year's celebration for a second at the
Yeah.
Mando
Oh my
panel?
God, with the Mando.
When
Oh my god.
so we get there, it's like snowing
okay, yeah.
outside. I get that. Like, okay, first of all, it's a lot.
I was sitting there for like 20 minutes for you guys. It was freezing.
We all have admission to this thing because only the people that have the QR codes are able to get in, and so we get there like fashionably late / early. Like,
well, it's like 6. It was like 7:30 or close to 8 in the morning.
Also, a thing to keep in mind is seating.
Was it that early? Dang.
Also, the thing is, seating was to each their own. There's no assigned seating.
No assigned seating.
No assigned
Huge
seating.
Stadium.
Other
Huge
than
stadium.
other than the assigned section it gives you.
right?
Yeah, you can't go in the media section. You got to be like around.
And so we get into line with Evan, and it was reasonably up in the line, but not like we were the first people. I mean, we're all going into the same place.
We had a distance ahead.
And this lady behind me gets into an argument. It's like, "What are you guys doing?" I'm like, Listen, we're all going to the same place. I guarantee you, as soon as we walk in those doors, we're not going to see you again." And she's like, "Ugh." She's like holding a grudge.
Yeah,
she was
gonna
like a Chewbacca sweatshirt or something, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like,
I mean,
my man Nathan is in shorts right now. Cool it.
I didn't know. Like I knew it would be cool. I didn't know. It was
you didn't look outside.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
You didn't know
What was funny is
canceled them.
during Clone Wars panel that same day, it just snowed the entire day.
That panel was. I mean, that whole day was great.
Dude, we were sitting at the Clone Wars panel, and Carson just looks at me. He's like, "My flight was canceled." I'm like, "Fuck yeah!"
We're going one day.
I'm just sitting there in a hoodie and shorts, and I'm just like, Florida.
We stayed at Wintrust that whole day. It was amazing.
Yeah, was that Mando, and then it was
Mando, then
Clone Wars.
there was the
Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk panel,
which
and
was
then
very fun.
Clone Wars.
And then Clone Wars.
We got didn't we catch the tail end of the Alan Tudyk?
Yeah, and he's
Yeah,
like, "Here's the first footage from
like-
Cassian." Or
Yeah, first look, and it was like we were just like,
And then he cock teased us.
yeah, and then
Literally.
it starts playing. It's just like action figures. So I was like, oh,
Yeah. But yeah, in general, the Mando panel was really cool. I love the Mando panel so much. Yeah, that was one of my favorite panels at the thing. Just hearing,
Giancarlo Esposito.
I know.
Dude, I got to talk to Jon Favreau as he walked off stage. I'm like,
Yeah.
"You like John Carlos?"
and he's like, "Yeah."
I'm like,
that was great.
"Thank you."
Truly a dyad in the Force. There.
Yeah, we were the only ones that saw that early footage of Mandalorian.
Yeah,
Uh,
dude.
They didn't put that
I'd say-
online.
Until it
I think
leaked
the
online.
streaming room got it too, but
Yeah, and then it leaked online. Like,
I
20
still
minutes
don't know
later.
why they didn't release that. Not the Mando, but the Clone Wars
I understand
trailer.
that. Oh, the Clone Wars trailer. Yeah, Clone
It's
Wars.
in the
still
live stream.
incredible that they kept
Made
Baby
no
Yoda
sense.
for perhaps that long.
That's crazy. That's wild. Like we watching that. Like Baby Yoda's
No
in a
idea.
lot of those shots, but just
It's so fun. I can't believe I was so happy I muted every word for Mando because like I had to work the day the Mando premiered and they dropped it like 3 a.m. It was just like
it dropped up.
I went through the whole day and I was just like, all right, cool. And somehow I didn't see it, so like
that's crazy.
I blew my
I-
reaction. I was just like, is that a Baby Yoda? Like,
I think I had the episode at like midnight. Oh, because I pre-downloaded Disney Plus.
Yeah, it dropped early. It dropped early.
It dropped early.
No,
yeah.
it dropped late. I
No.
thought.
No, well,
The first
No,
episode was
remember,
late?
Evan, we were trying to download the PlayStation app of Disney Plus, and we're
And
like,
I had
"Oh,
to
it's not
access
down."
up
And
already.
then we're like, "PlayStation is up," and then it was on
Oh.
PlayStation at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
for you, probably.
I-
that was
yeah,
hilarious the whole time.
It was every episode after that where it was kind of late.
Yeah, it was.
Dude, it was
yeah,
so funny the whole time. We were like, man, wouldn't it be like amazing? Like it won't happen, but wouldn't it be amazing if like every Star Wars was in 4K? It's not gonna happen.
Oh yeah, we were like, it's not gonna happen.
Oh
And then-
yeah, and then day
then
of.
and then like none of you guys had access. I'm looking through it. I'm like, what the fuck? It's available in 4K. What the fuck?
I was like, go to the Tatooine Desert on A New Hope.
You were like counting every grain of sand. I'm like, what?
Oh, the backstory is we had one of our friends try to like download the 4K version like
4K 77
of the movie, and it's in like Russian. And
I was literally like, I will dub it. Scrap it.
Nathan's got to like dub the whole thing to like restore the 4K 77 version. Too funny.
But it's cool because now we got McClunky. So.
Yep.
What else?
Is that in the 4K? Is that in the 4K release of like the giant box set?
It probably.
That's
is.
a good question. I'm assuming so.
It would have to be. I think.
Like I want to know if it's.
It's got to be the same version.
I want to know if it changed on Voodoo. I kind of want to know if it changed on Voodoo as well.
I don't think it updates on.
Because Voodoo has a 4K release too.
Well, actually, yeah, because I saw it as a separate bundle. Who knows?
That's interesting.
Also, one of my favorite panels was the Fallen Order panel on that Saturday.
Oh, great panel! Yeah,
yeah, and that
like
was
surprise.
amazing.
Cameron Monaghan.
Yeah, his introduction.
Cameron Monaghan just walks out. I'm like, oh my god, it's Jerome from Gotham.
That trailer, trust only in the
That was
Force.
a great trailer. Great story trailer.
That was
Is that when we saw him fighting the Inquisitor, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
at the very end.
Oh, so cool.
And then we also had Josh Gad at the
At the whatever panel. Yeah.
and
Somehow
Matt Martin.
my life.
Yeah.
Distance of Josh Gad. I don't know how, but I like it.
Dude, it's just so funny when Josh Gad brought out Matt Martin and Carson's like, yeah.
I was the only one that cheered for Matt Martin because he kept making fun of. He was like, "You're just a little baby on this stage. You're too young to be out." The whole time, Josh Gad is making Matt Martin jokes, and I'm like, no one understands who this guy is, but like,
This guy is so important,
especially at the Parks panel. That's why it was so funny that Matt Martin was one of the moderators or one of the panelists.
Yeah, I totally skipped out on that panel.
Like it was
a good
cool.
panel.
I will say it was cool seeing like the head Imagineers for Galaxy's Edge there.
Yeah, we saw like early like concept art and like
We were
drone
mind
footage
blown by
and
the Coke soda bottles.
yeah, didn't those get banned? Oh no, they didn't.
I still haven't been to Galaxy's Edge, but I have one of these.
Cheater.
My cousin got me it when she was there in October. But I actually have like 2 Galaxy's Edge shirts, the Coke bottle, and the Coca-Cola shirt, and I still haven't been to Galaxy's Edge.
Sir, you are such a glitch right now.
I know.
All your a blizzard. Oh,
There
I
you
can
go.
breathe. My eyes. Yeah, no, it's such great times. What was Phantom Menace was
A
great.
panel.
Pretty good. I got a commemorative shirt.
It was okay. I expected more guests, but
Yeah, we expected more from it. It was basically just like a celebration.
I didn't expect more guests, but I liked everybody was cheering for Ahmed Best. That was
Yeah,
fun.
that was the highlight for sure.
I think
You know,
we set ourselves up where we were just like, oh, maybe they're gonna announce something. Maybe Ewan's here and we'll announce Kenobi. They saved that for Disney Plus.
Yeah, for Disney Plus later that year.
D23.
Yeah, D23.
yeah, I mean, we've been speculating. We were like D23 2017 or whatever. We're like, so Kenobi, Kathleen's gonna walk out on stage, or Kathy's gonna come out during the 40th anniversary panel of Star Wars and be like, Kenobi.
I remember that.
We were all fools. Like
Nothing
oh my
happened.
God.
Still cool though, because we did get we got Anthony Daniels and Ahmed, which is great.
Yes.
That was really cool.
I think both John Knoll and Doug Chang there.
I think so.
Yep.
Yep.
I waved at Doug Chang.
Hey, let's talk about the meeting of John Knoll, you
No.
psychos.
Nope.
Nope.
Nah, come on.
No.
This is where
How
Star
about
Wars.
Mark
This
Hamill?
is where celebration fatigue.
Dude, this is
Comes into
literally
play.
when we were just like beyond tired. And I'm like, I know him. I've seen him before. And I see people walking up to him. I'm like, yeah, he's famous, Carson. I'm telling you.
I'm like,
And
no,
Carson's like,
this man
I
just
don't
looks like a.
He's like, just leave this guy alone, you know? I'm like,
I'm over
"No,
here. I'm just
I
like,
know him.
I was just wandering around. I was like looking at other stuff. This is the one time I leave the group and they run into John Knoll and like they're just
Oh,
like, who's this guy? And I'm
he's
just in
freezing
my
up.
brain.
Nathan, you froze.
Frozen.
So you guys met John Noel? Or did,
Wait.
Oh,
met Mark
Brandon
Hamill.
did.
did you guys walk up to him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brandon did. I was just like on my phone, like, dude, go do whatever. I'm tired.
Bro,
And he goes up to
Wow.
him and he's like, I know you from somewhere, but I
Yeah,
don't know your
you.
name.
I'm like, I know
He
you.
said
from
that? Oh
somewhere.
my god.
Brandon did.
I'm like, I know you. I just don't. I can't draw a blank. I'm tired, but I know you. You're awesome. He's like, hi, I'm Mark Hamill. I'm like, man, just tell me who. And I didn't say that to him, but as soon as I walked away, I'm like, that was John Noel. What the fuck?
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Yeah,
Oh
As
no.
soon as I walked away, I was like, oh fuck, that's John Noel. He's gone.
Dang.
He's just gone.
Oh, one of the best meetings was when I met Claudia and got my my
Yeah, we
copy
didn't even
of
talk about
Bloodline
that.
signed.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Double
Was it Bloodline?
Nathan.
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
god, what happened there?
And then there were two.
And then internet died.
But Nathan also
Oh,
met Claudia Gray,
Luckily, the
and it was
stream's still
great.
going.
I
Yeah,
said,
Oh,
I
we
love
talking
how
about
you write.
Claudia, are we?
I was like, I love how you write Leia. She's so compassionate. Just a great interpretation of the character. Thank you so much. And
For
she was
real,
like,
dude.
"Oh."
That was I loved to do because like I loved Princess Alderaan so much. So just
Yeah.
and she's
Such
so
an underrated
nice.
novel. Yeah.
Such an angel, dude. She's so good.
So
Remember,
yeah, I if Celebration happens, I want to meet Claudia again because
Same here.
yes.
I met Timothy Zahn. Timothy
Zahn.
Zahn was Zahn. Yeah, sorry, Timothy Zahn. He was awesome to me.
Thrawn.
20 the author of 27 Thrawn books.
I shook his
including-
hand. I shook his hand. I'm like, thank you, sir, for Thrawn. And he walked. He's like, yeah, thank you.
Oh,
And then he
man.
walked away.
Oh my
But I got a
God.
picture with him.
Yeah, I hope I meet Claudia Gray, Charles Soule, and some of the other like authors. Because I remember I met Claudia Gray, and that was such a great.
I want to meet Kevin Scott at this
Kevin
one.
Scott too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Duke of Jedi Lost.
Meeting Mark Daniel that Saturday was amazing, and then like just a quick picture and everything on Saturday, and then we were waiting for the Mandalorian panel to start, and I see Mark again. I'm like, hey, I just want to say hello to him, see if he knows Resort TV 1, and then the words slip out of my mouth. I'm like, do you want to do an interview? And we made it
Yeah, I
happen.
remember that.
Out of nowhere, I'm like, come on, dude, let's do an interview. He's like, yeah, I'm down. Just hit me up on Twitter later. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, he's not going to get back to me. He got back to me. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, he was an awesome host, and of course we yelled at him for saying the Kylo villain or whatever. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, we got to tell that story, guys. I mean, that story is it's one of my favorite
a
moments
tale.
ever. It is so great.
Mark,
Okay, so,
Mark brought me up on stage to do this little game show with
So,
a bunch
wait,
of other people.
what panel were we at? This was
Mando.
the
It was
Mando panel.
before, before
Yeah, this is a Mandalorian panel, and he brings Brandon and some other guests up on stage to play a game.
And like basically you had like, who's this guy? Oh, there's a new guy in chat. Hi, Nick Stout. It's almost 2:30.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
Welcome.
Yes, we're
Um,
about to wrap up. Sorry.
It's almost 2:30.
Here.
But yeah, we were hanging out, and he just brings up on stage, and basically the game of it was he's gonna bring up a topic, and you need to name something out of that topic to name. But if you don't name it in time, you get booted off. Everybody yells Order 66 at you. Anyways, I got in second place. There's just
You were
a
great.
fiasco.
Yeah.
I was rigged.
Because this girl, because the category was Sith. It was the final round, and it was between Brandon and this.
It wasn't
little
fun.
girl.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't the final round.
No, we had a few people left in the final round.
Really, I thought you were in the girl were final too.
I was in the final two, but he got to Hot Women in Star Wars, and he only called on me.
Okay. But yeah, it goes to Sith, and Emperor starts naming Sith. Then she says Kylo Ren, and we immediately, all of us, like Nathan, Carson, and I, start yelling.
Even Randy.
I have never seen him.
We all yelled.
God
order,
forbid we follow the canon.
we all yell Order 66, and everybody starts yelling Order 66, and then starts screaming and yelling. And the Mark just looked
The
at
video
us
is
like,
hilarious, though.
what should I
He
do?
looked exactly at us. He's like,
Because we were losing our voices. I was like, Order 66. Kylo Ren is not a Sith. He is not. And he was like, well, you never know. Anything could happen. I'm like, no. It was hilarious. And then he allowed her to stay. But that was such a funny moment.
But he did give me this Captain Phasma drink.
That is amazing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then she got a freaking X-wing.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, hilarious moment.
Carson said Mando panel. I do believe you got into a kind-hearted altercation of which you
With Randy.
did put someone on that lay good food.
Oh yeah. So, well, basically, it was like you don't ever know who you're gonna sit next to at these panels. I mean, you sit next to. Anyways, you sit. It's like what is it? Like 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And of course, I don't know. We're talking about Star Wars with this dude, and he's got his wife and his 2 kids there. We're talking about I don't know how we got Last Jedi. And he starts talking about his problems with Luke, and I'm like, "What kind of Luke did you want?" And he points up to the celebration art of
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi. I'm like, that Luke doesn't exist anymore.
It's been 30 years, sir.
And that's what I was like trying to explain to him my perspective as a younger fan, and we came to an understanding, and I was like, I don't know how. He was talking about. I think he wanted. We were talking about other canon after we argued about The Last Jedi, and I'm like, he's like, yeah, the Thrawn books are just so much better than anything else. I'm like, I pulled out Bloodline from my backpack. I'm like, let me put you on that good food.
Yeah, good food. Claudia Gray.
Yeah, now we're still Facebook friends, and hopefully we can catch Randy at the next celebration if he goes.
Unfortunately, he isn't going. We became friends with him and everything. So
we'll message him on Facebook if we're at celebration, send him some pictures or whatnot.
The good old times.
But that's probably the best thing about celebration is no matter what your arguments are with people, everybody's just there to have a good time.
Everybody's
the best fan environment ever.
Easily.
I know it stinks online. Everything is horrible and everyone's negative, but trust me, if you go to a celebration, you will not meet a mean soul there. Everyone is amazing.
Yeah, I had a great time. Everybody's so positive and lively, and you meet a lot of great friends, and I loved it.
Such great moments, such great times, like the show of which we have reached its noble end.
No, we have not. We still have a lot to cover.
Speaking of yeah, we're pretty much over. But so before we end, though, before we went online, people were talking about Comic-Con being canceled. At this point, do you guys still think Celebration is coming out this year?
Fingers crossed. They're still postponing things to August, so I'm holding strong.
I'm holding strong as well.
Yeah,
Carson?
I'm holding strong. I'm just waiting for the dust to settle at this point, especially with flights. Don't buy your flights right now. I mean, you can get travel insurance and stuff, but just kind of, it's a waiting game, and I know it sucks, but we got some more important stuff to beat before we can go celebrate Star Wars, unfortunately. But hopefully, August will be the month that everything is kind of resuming at full steam again. We'll have Wonder Woman in theaters. We'll have movies back. We'll have fandom back where we can go talk to each other and go to these events. So I'm hoping
we'll be able to go see the movies.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Man, I miss my movie theater so much.
Me too. I miss it.
I'm going crazy.
I am dead inside.
Yeah, but it's that time. It's that time.
Yeah, no, I mean, just this whole
without movies, yeah,
sucks.
Oh.
But,
dude, literally, my 2020 list has 5 films on it. That's it.
Oh, it's horrible. I hate it.
I'm watching all these Netflix movies, so I can just kind of watch new movies.
Dude, I just saw No Time to Die. What are you guys talking about?
Oh yeah,
Am I in the wrong timeline?
Don't do this to us, Nathan.
How was it? How was the ending?
Oh my God, Rami Malek was the new Bond all along. My God,
how was Billie Eilish?
Oh, fantastic. But
so this is kind of Star Wars related. How would you guys random before we wrap up? I saw a tweet earlier about wanting to possibly cast John Boyega as James Bond. How would you guys feel?
No,
I want Idris Elba.
He's too young. My Bond has to be
talk to me in 5 years. I don't know.
30 to 40s. I want him to experience. Doing John Boyega means he's a new recruit. I don't want that.
I still want to see what's
he
her
wears
name?
a good tux.
I would like to see a spinoff of try to remember her name from Captain Marvel. She's in No Time to Die.
Oh yeah, Letitia, right? No, am I right?
No,
yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a 007 agent, right?
2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, the only line that we know. Watch that trailer in IMAX 5,000
Put a bullet
Watch
in
that trailer
it.
20 times. Yeah.
You're good, knee, the one that works.
I love it, dude. I think she
Her
could do
line
it.
delivery is wow. Like we're talking about it. Like it's good.
Yeah, Star Wars related. Yeah. So that about wraps up our show.
Yeah.
Good time, fun time, solid time, internet connection or what not. It's a good time. But yeah, as per usual, you can find us in various social medias. For example, Evan's here. Where can he find you?
You guys can find me at Harris EV9 on Twitter. It's crazy how this episode went to be one of our longest episodes, and we didn't have nearly as much news to cover. But that's why I love Star Wars. We can talk about it forever. So yeah, follow me at Harris EV9 on Twitter. I'll just be playing Final Fantasy and watching Netflix movies.
Yeah, we got that backwards logic where we'll have 20 topics and we'll be done in 5 minutes. Carson, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at the Force Critic. And I'll be just watching more Netflix movies. I think I'm gonna check out Tiger Tail, the new Netflix movie this weekend. And yeah, just kind of I'm feeling a sequel trilogy rewatch coming in soon. It's painful and it's fun and all those mixed emotions as it seems. I haven't watched The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi since The Rise of Skywalker. So I'm very excited to get back to that and kind of watch the trilogy in its completion. So yeah, more on that as I go. Stay safe, people.
Fantastic. Brandon, closing thoughts?
It was great to be on again. Thanks for having me on. We have a new episode out. It's Hyperspace Hype 1-on-1 with me interviewing Arlenauts. We had about a 90-minute interview, and it's up on the channel now. We'll post that in the comments description below. It was great to interview him. Personally, one of my favorite YouTube channels, so it was great to talk with them, and I'm just glad they were cool with being on. And yeah, it was awesome. Great to have them on. Great to have a great chat with them. So please go check this out. Go check them out, and go follow all of us here. So yeah.
As per usual, you can find me on all social media links in the description below. And if you did in fact enjoy our podcast, we do it every Friday night about 12:45 Eastern Standard Time, the midnight shift hours of Friday night, Saturday morning. So you can always catch us here, or catch us on the various times in the morning, whenever you wake up on your morning commute on a Saturday where nobody works. I messed that up, but yeah, you can always listen to us. Good old Star Wars chat. But from all of us here, if you did in fact enjoy our podcast, hit the like button, subscribe if not already. And that being said, hope you have a great day. May the Force be with you always.